What's up, everyone? My name is Benjamin. I am the creator of Valet, and today I'm just going to be walking you through the software. Our launch is just around the corner. Our wait list has 3 slots left. If you're not on the wait list, get on the wait list. If you want early access, if you want half a month for free, and if you want me to personally install the software for you, that's how you do it. Is you join the wait list. So let's get started. To begin, we're going to sign up. Signing up is very simple. You're either going to use all these inputs, or if you have your business account attached to Google, you can just use sign up with Google. Done. Now, we're just going to call this company Random Trash, just as a reference. Obviously, you want to have this information be identical to your information. Verification on ownership. I went through that quickly, but that's just verifying that you are the owner or the head of the operation is the one creating this account. Company address is super important in this software, mainly because everything is powered by the Google address. I'll just go ahead and show you. So powered by Google needs to be selected. I know a lot of browsers have your own little inputs that appear automatically because you type your address in so many times, so it's easier to click on that. It needs to be powered by Google. All right, I'm done. Team size, number of communities. Excuse me. Now, these are shift requirements. These are essentially the bread and butter of the software. You get to decide on which ones you want to use, but these kind of dictate how you want your shift to run, right? So trash compactor is the process of having the employee take a before picture and an after image after their service. So if they have this on, when you clock in, you'll need to have a before picture of the trash compactor before moving forward to have your other services. I know that doesn't make much sense right now, but it will when we have the mobile demonstration. Checkpoints are just checkpoints all over the property. So QR codes are mostly what they are, but they will eventually be NFC tags, like the things you tap to Apple Pay. We will get there eventually, but right now they're just QR codes. Get a sticker, put them in crevices of the apartment complex, making sure your employee hits on every one of those. If you don't want to do that, if you don't already have a system that does that, then you just hit that off. But we're going to turn everything on right now. Show unassigned properties. This is just to optimize the schedule. Like right now, the head of operations likely to force to call all of their employees, see who wants to work. They're getting a call from their boss while they're on the clock at their other job, or 9 times out of 10, it's just the hairy situation, as opposed to just having the unassigned property show up on the employee's account within 10 miles. So if they're within 10 miles and they have the day off and they see Wednesday I have the day off, I can work. It kind of invites initiative. And if they just got off the clock, they want to work 2 properties, it's 2 miles away. It just helps all parties out with knowing what's around without revealing your whole deck of cards. Right, we don't want your employee to know all the properties you have, but we also want them to help out as much as possible. So you can reduce that or you can increase that depending on the amount of traffic or distance you want your employees to drive. Awesome. So we've created an account. We are now members of Valet Hero. As you see, the 14-day free trial is going to be up on the right, and on the right side of the dashboard, you're going to see a walkthrough. This walkthrough is what we're going to follow. Since you have unlimited access during these 14 days, you can you can just do the whole system, right? You can add all your employees, you can add all your properties, and you can hit the ground running, or you can just do it slow and steady. So we're just going to go ahead and create a username, David Doe, give them all this information. I'm making up all this information, by the way. Start date is really cool. This is the actual date they started. If you want to do that or find that information out, it just adds reference to the employee, gives them kind of a status, right? If an employee has been there for quite some time, then it adds trust. If he hasn't been there not so long, it adds leniency. So it just balances out very well. So right here we see he joined 618 days ago. After he created an account, we can edit everything but his email. We can't edit his email because we just made it an account with his email, so it would make no sense to edit his email. If you messed up on his email, delete this account and create another one. Everything else you can change, including his profile picture. We understand employees may not put the profile picture that you thought fit to fit the brand of your company. So it's just a quick way, a gentle way of saying change your profile picture, or changing it yourself if you have a headshot of them in your laptop or your mobile device. So temporary password, this is sent to them. It's really just a one-time usage. It's emailed to them when the account is created, but the second they log in, they get to change their password. So this is just on the off chance of I didn't get the email is not showing. You have it here, you can access it. It's easy to come by. Great. So we're gonna go back to home and we're gonna continue with this. So now we're gonna communities, add a community. We're just gonna call this demo. Give it 200 units. Demo. Like I said, random number. Again, it's so important to click powered by Google. So for this one, I believe, give me 1 second. It needs to be a close distance. 1 second. Okay, got it. Address is complete. Now we do apartment type, service days. I know typically it's Sunday through Thursday, but we're gonna go ahead and do just these random days because we want to clock in today, and you cannot clock in if you're not scheduled. Um, Active. So we always want this switch to be active if you're actively serving the apartment. If not, then you can leave it unactive. I know, like I said, some people might want to do periodic rollouts. So maybe you just want to do it on one or two, but add all the properties today. Essentially, when you activate it, it'll start showing up in the system. It'll show up on the schedule. So essentially, it'll expect people to be at that property. So you don't want it active if that's not the expectation. So we're going to go ahead and save. If I saved it and it's inactive, it's an easy fix. You just hit the edit, go right down, hit save, and now we're active. Next, what we're going to do, once we create communities, before we finish onboarding, since we're already here, we're going to go ahead and assign agents. So I'm just going to assign agent for every day of the week except Saturday. Let's leave Saturday blank. And we have no district manager, so we cannot assign a district manager yet. Checkpoints. We spoke a little bit about checkpoints earlier. This will be, I guess, our checkpoint section. So depending on the size of the property, it really depends on the amount of checkpoints you have. Sometimes the layout of the property requires more checkpoints, right? You want different crevices or this building over here to get hit as well. So you put a checkpoint there intentionally to, let the employee know that don't forget this area without micromanaging. So with checkpoints, to create one, let's just name this second floor, right? Nice and simple. Every checkpoint is going to start off inactive. District managers are able to activate the checkpoints on their application, but you can do everything on your admin side as well. So let's go ahead and name third floor. Great. So now we have two checkpoints and we want them both active. So we're just going to go ahead and hit view all, activate, and then we have to print them out and get them to the property. So here we go. We just printed them out and we're going to keep this open for later, right? So when we clock in and we test them out later. I absolutely forgot about the customer portal. So we spoke a lot about checkpoints earlier. With the checkpoints, with it being a QR code and it being on the walls and it being ugly, we decided to create a dual purpose for it. That being said, you can just go on a checkpoint, hit copy URL, go to a site right here, and this is the site it will take you to, right? So if a resident scans the URL, they're none the wiser. They have no idea to checkpoint. This is what they'll see. They'll see your business name. They'll see your business website, hit visit website. They'll see their community name, so they'll be able to put two and two together. They'll see that someone has already serviced the property. If no one serviced the property, it will say not serviced. If it's not scheduled to be serviced today, it'll say no service today. There's a direct contact portal for them to contact you, which I think is vital, right? It eliminates the property manager being the middleman, and a lot of the tension that I see with valet trash and communities is communities being the middleman, right? Them standing up for their residents and just probably mistranslation. So it's really best if you handle the customer support individually. One angry resident is better than losing 400 units. So taking care of those complaints individually can save you in the long run before it goes to the community. That being said, the community will be able to see the contact that you allow them to see. They'll also be able to see the violations you approve. One way they'll be able to do that is via the admin portal, right? So we have the portal for the community, so for the regular residents, and then we also have something a little bit more restricted, for the property managers, the employees, the people that actually care about the stuff and want to check on the service, probably fact checked, right? They obviously want to have knowledge on their own. They want to see what time the employees are coming in and leaving their property, which is their right. So property password is emailed to them. If they forget it, we have the forgot password. We go ahead and send another email with their password. So right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and get that. Great, so we got the password. And this is what they'll see, right? We have not approved any violations, so they do not see any violations yet. We have the shift that happened today. If we wanted to see what happened yesterday, there would have to be a shift yesterday, but we can see David was there for less than 5 minutes. He got 150% of his checkpoints, which means he scanned over. I'll have to fix that so that it's tracking based off of the right. I'll have to fix that. And then service logs. So it just essentially shows you what happened. Took a picture of the compactor. That way, everything is transparent. Everything is cohesive. And last thing is they are able to contact you directly. So let's say they want a site visit, more trash bags, a bin broke, things like that. Things that probably don't need a phone call, they can wait on. It just gets sent to you, and then you'll be able to see it on your end as well. Great. So we finished everything, create a schedule. I feel like we have created a schedule already, right? But the reason it's still there is because I really want every user to go on the schedule and make an adjustment. So for this Tuesday, right, we could add David if we wanted to, or better yet, we can just say next week, David can't work Tuesday, right? So that'll be unassigned now. So now, even though David is typically scheduled to work Tuesdays, we have let the system know that not this Tuesday. This Tuesday is his grandma's birthday, right? So let's continue. Now we have done everything. Onboarding is complete. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a district manager. We're going to name him John Doe. It's going to be David's younger brother. Excuse me. And he started a week ago. Great. Cool. So now we have John Doe and we have David Doe. And like I said, we go here, we see the temporary password, we see the profile picture, we can make adjustments, and we can go to communities. Let's go ahead and update this. So we're gonna leave Saturday on unassigned, right? It's just no one has said they can work Saturdays yet, so we're just gonna have to find a fill-in spot every time, and we're only doing that for demonstrational purposes. So John is now district manager of this property. We have checkpoints, we have assigned agents. Now we can go to tracking. We're not there yet on tracking. Okay, settings. So If you guys change your mind on service details, if you guys want to play with it back and forth, I just showed you how you can test it. You can create your first um, property being your base, your your head of operations, your headquarters, or your own home property. And this just allows you to play with the software, see how it works, because you cannot clock in if you're not at the property. So you have to have a headquarters property per se if you want to test it. If you want to just trust it, then I appreciate the love. For service details, you can turn it on and off as you mess around with it, right? So if we don't want to use checkpoints, if we have decided to use checkpoints, you can always change your mind, go back. Edit violation types. Every valet trash company does violations. I know there's different templates and different terminologies used, or actually, different options. So I gave you guys the ability to delete some, add some, remove some. So please use that. Feel free. I just put random base ones on there. Change password, of course. This will be your change admin password, not any of the employees. You cannot change any of the employee passwords. Upgrade plan, please do so. Report a bug. Report a bug is really what's going to be our community feature. Eventually, I'm going to make it a forum, but the software can't be built for one company, right? We're going to have to find one cohesive way for Valet Trash to be a service. And in order to do so, please report bugs and ideas on improving the community. I will accumulate all of these bugs, all of these requests, fix the bugs, and based on the request, it kind of steers me in the direction that we need to move on the next feature or service, right? If 5 out of the 10 subscribed companies are asking for this service, I know which way that we need to move next. Great. So that ends the segment on creating the admin account. Another thing we have here is the ability to kind of navigate through the whole software. So this searches communities and members. So we had demo property, we go to demo property. If we want to go to John, we go to John. So it's just a quick navigation instead of having to hit this every time. Cool. Okay, so we're back with the mobile side of the video. I should have the mobile side somewhere on the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and have my desktop open as well. That way you can see both sides of the application, how they function with one another, so on and so forth. So to begin, if you remember, we have to go to the employee account. So we're actually gonna start with David. We're gonna start with the collection specialist who was scheduled today. So I made up emails. So typically I would have the temporary password in my email, but because these emails are made up, I have to go here to get it. And as you can see, the first thing that's going to appear is change your password. Yep. Great. Once we change the password, we're in. So we see right away that we have a shift today. We see that we are here. We are already at the shift. We are 0 miles away. If we were 100 miles away and we were scheduled to work there, we would see that it was 100 miles away. We just would not be able to clock in. So because we're here, because we have a shift, clock in, we can hit the maps and it takes us on directions. So it's never a where's the property at. We can see the district manager right below here. So I can go ahead and give John Doe a call. I can text him if he wasn't my brother and I didn't have his number. So let's go ahead and clock in. Excuse me. So let's take the before picture on the trash compactor. And if you saw, before I submit that, if you saw accurately, everything else is locked. Everything else is locked. So I can't hit scan checkpoint. I can't hit report violation. So I essentially can just clock out or take a before image. So because I'm still working, I want to take a before image, submit the photo, done, and then everything should be unlocked. So now we have scan checkpoint and now we have violation. So let's go ahead and scan a checkpoint. You have 2 here. Let's go ahead and scan this one. Boom. So, all right, we scanned that one successfully. What happens if I'm an employee and I want to finesse the system? So I'm just going to print out all these checkpoints from my car. Well, you have to scan every checkpoint at least once. So I just scanned the same one twice and it still says 1 out of 2. But if I scroll and scan this one, there you go. And also, if I scan this when I'm not on the clock, it like I said before, it will go to. I don't think I've got there before, but it will go to the property based page. So we can get into that in a second. But let's go ahead and report a violation next. 203L. Let's say the bags are torn, trash is collected, and let's take a picture of me. Submit. Great, violation is submitted. As you can see, we have 1 minute 40 seconds into our shift and we are essentially done. Depending on how many violations you require your employee to provide, we don't have a set number on that. You can provide unlimited, you can provide 0 if you see fit. Now, let's see how the application looks while I'm on the clock, because I feel like that's important, right? As a head of operations, you're going to be at home watching these things from 7 to 12 o'clock at night. So right away we see demo is orange, which means it means it's currently active, right? Someone is currently on the shift. Once I clock out, it'll turn green. I should see the property. There it is. So once I clock out, it should turn green. And right here as well. Sorry. Checkpoints. So as you can see, everything that we've done, even that duplicate, everything gets logged. Units, violations, clock in, clock out. So it has our clock in, has our before image. So everything is visible as admin when you come home. When he clocks out, he'll be on the shift report. It just cannot give you a shift report until you clock out. So let's go ahead and look at the settings. The settings, if I click on my profile picture, I can change it. If I click on contact support, it'll have a support option. This goes directly to me mainly. And then what happens when it goes directly to me is I'll conduct an email with this employee and the creator of the account. So ideally the business owner or head of operations. And that's how we will conduct our tickets, right? If you have a ticket yourself, there's a method on here in settings, but for them, we'll also add them so they know that we're working on it as well. They have the ability to change password and they have the ability to log out. So we're going to go ahead and clock out before we log out, and go ahead and log out next. And then next we're going to go to John's account. So like I said before, we do not have John's password. Now we do. So now John's in, we have to change the password. Great. Done with that. And as you can see right here, John will always have access to the communities that he manages. So he will have access. I mean, if we made another property and he had access to it, it will always appear even though he's not shifted to it or on scheduled for it, sorry. But it will not appear for anyone else. So for David, if he's not on the clock there, unless it's in that 10-mile radius, he cannot clock in. If it's not even shifted for that day at all, he cannot clock in as well. John is the only person who can clock in whenever and however they want to a community that they manage, because we have audit reports, we have site visits, we have things that they may need to be there at an earlier time, a later time. So for district managers, they have a lot more leniency. Let's go ahead and click on a property. So when we click on a property, you'll see property status. Property status will actually show the employee shift. So as we saw, David just clocked in at 3:59 and he clocked out at 4:03 p.m. Great. And then now we can go to the settings. And on settings, we'll just have one extra button, and that button will be checkpoint status. So checkpoint status, I can click here, hit demo. There'll be tabs of all the properties. So if you have 50 properties and the district manager has access to 10, he'll have 10 on this tab, and then he'll be able to switch on and off the checkpoints. So if you wanted to switch them off because one got peeled off the wall, doesn't work anymore, so on and so forth. And then he can also go, I think we left Saturday unassigned intentionally, so he can go around and see Saturday no one has a shift. As a district manager, he should probably figure that out, right? Great. So that's how the application looks. I think that about covers every major service that we have so far. Like I said, we're going to continue adding and building and fixing things. There's always going to be small amounts of problems we can improve on, but this is just days away, at most a week away. So I would really love to hear a lot of the feedback that you guys have on the application. Maybe some things that are missing, or if you're excited just to have it, please let me know. Thank you. My name is Ben again, and I appreciate your time.